Hi, Siri. I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Trying to figure out what's going on with Facebook here. Can't get it pulled up. Imagine that. Today's program, we'll have JC. We'll do our Peachland Dental U.S. Open picks from Pinehurst. We're coming to you live from Pinehurst, if you can't notice there in the back. And then Sean Kelley, voice of the Gators. He'll be heading out with the baseball team later this afternoon, get his thoughts on what he's seen so far in postseason play, as you have the ACC, SEC big shootout, or whatever the hell they call it, there in Omaha. Not a whole lot going on in the sports world right now.
What? Not a whole lot going on.
Not last night there wasn't.
Well, okay, that was the night off. I watched baseball last night. I got caught up on what's going on in Major League Baseball. It was very nice, very peaceful and enjoyable. And I truly believe I saw four teams to me that have separated themselves in the league. New York, LA, Philadelphia, and Baltimore are clearly a step above the rest of the world. You could throw Milwaukee and Cleveland maybe in there, but those are the four teams that are clear and away right now at this point of the season, the best four, and could likely play in the American and National League Championship Series, no doubt.
Well, we're not even into the All-Star break. So
I know. You're right.
A lot can happen.
A lot can happen. It's very true. Injuries do take fold in the second part of the year, and that will influence how it finishes. But QB, we've got, as you just mentioned, in my mind, the hardest major to win coming up this weekend, even though I have heard and read that Pinehurst does not have the rough this high. It's not nearly as punitive.
Well, they don't have a whole lot of rough there. They have a lot of, as you can see in the background, natural crap. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, right. Well, and the greens are going to be tremendous. It's going to be hot. It's going to be dry. They're going to be as fast as anything you'll see the entire season in golf this weekend, which is what the U.S. Open should have. You've got Tee Times QB. Listen to these groups going off at 1:15. Rory McIlroy, PGA champion Xander Schauffele, and five-time winner TPC and Masters champion Scotty Scheffler, all in the same group. Another group that's going off early in the morning, Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa, and Justin Thomas. That's a group that I'm going to watch hard at 7 o'clock in the morning. And Tiger Woods goes off at 7:15. And here's a prediction for you, QB. Are you ready for this? You'll absolutely disagree with it, and that's fine. But Tiger Woods is plus 200, which means he's a 2-1 underdog to make the cut. And he's plus 600 to finish in the top 20 if he makes the cut. And I'm betting yes on both of them. What do you think of them apples?
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's getting odds.
But I mean, those are astronomical odds. I don't think he makes the cut.
Okay. Well, here's the only reason for that rationale. It won't be slow. It won't be rainy. The course is flat. It won't be hard to walk for him, in my opinion. And I think he's hitting irons pretty well. I think in this tournament, Andy North is saying that you have to pick players that hit iron shots into greens. They're going to be aiming for the middle of the greens because the pins are going to be over on the edges, cutting into the grain. And it's going to be a difficult. You're going to see a lot of 6 and 8 foot putts for par in this tournament. You may even see some balls roll off the green from putting. So, or even on approach shots. So it's going to be a tough test, and that's what the U.S. Open is all about, and that's why it's my favorite major.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, like you said, the greens are very difficult there. They're supposed to be extremely fast. They're already bitching and complaining, which I like. Just hope the USGA does not give in to these boys and slow the greens down. Andy wants to know on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melvin Law. Roy's back with his wife, JC. How does that impact his game?
Oh, well, you saw what happened to him last week. He was a non-factor. He was, I don't even think he was in the top 10 last week. I mean, good for Rory if that's what they want to do. You know me, I know nothing about any of this, but it did seem funny how when he announced his divorce, he went out, shot the best round he's shot in 5 years, and won the tournament, walking away from it. So that was kind of coincidental, I suppose. But yeah, these guys are going to be throwing the ball into the middle of the green. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to be pin seeking here because that's going to get you into double bogey or bogey land in all likelihood. So I think premium shots are going to, or the iron shots are going to come at a premium. The best ball striker on tour is Scott Scheffler. That's where his advantage, I think, is going to be really seen in this tournament.
He's the best ball striker in the history of the game, in my opinion.
It's incredible how he hits the ball so consistently. It is absolutely amazing. I think Xander Schauffele is right there. Not quite as good, but just as close. I mean, very close to being as good as Scotty Scheffler. He hits great shots, and he won the PGA because of that.
Greg's question for you, JC, which I'm sure you're aware of this, and I'm going to take a stab at it.
All right.
He says, how about who is favored to win the NCAA World Series?
Okay,
I would guess, not having seen anything, either A&M or Tennessee are your favorites.
Actually, those are the top two. Tennessee is one.
And I think the Gators are 8th out of the 8 teams.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay, I couldn't tell you anything in between that.
Well, so that's very good, QB. That's very good awareness.
Well, it's pretty easy whenever you have number 1 and number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't A&M Tennessee was 1?
Yes.
Well, Kentucky was number 2. I mean, Kentucky's probably the third favorite.
I mean, why don't you just tell me what it is? You got the top 3. Go ahead.
All right, so you got Tennessee, A&M, Kentucky.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of who else is playing.
Well, just think 4 ACCs and 4 SECs.
I would go North Carolina next.
Yes.
Then I would go Florida State, NC State, Gators.
Well, Virginia, and then the Gators.
Oh, I forgot about Virginia. Yeah,
that's very good. God.
Well, I mean, hell, I'm going by how they were seeded. It ain't real hard.
It makes sense, but here's some trivia for you. Give me the 2 teams that have the most appearances in this very competitive 8-field team, which I think anybody can win this thing. Anybody. I think that's how closely matched.
Out of the 8 teams that are there, who's been there the most?
Who's been there the most of the 8?
Probably the semis.
That is correct with 24. Who is number 2?
That would be your mighty Gators.
God, that is right. Okay, if you get the 3rd team, I'm going to crown you as the new college baseball authority, and not Kendall Rogers of D1 baseball. Who is number 3? This is tough.
At the most appearances of those teams right there, it's. I mean, I'm probably not. I know it's one of these 2 teams.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is.
This is really good.
I'm going to lean.
I'm impressed.
I'm going to say North Carolina edges Virginia.
Yes, that is exactly right. My God.
Yeah, tell Kendall Rogers to take a hike.
I mean, you just basically rolled out of bed with no idea and just ran off all of these correct answers. Tennessee has 7. Virginia has 7. A&M has 8. And the team with its first coming up appearance in the college,
the Wildcats.
It's the Wildcats, and then you've got a team that kind of got ripped off a few years ago because of the COVID virus in the North Carolina State Wolfpack, who were playing great at the time, but they got sick and they had to leave town. Here they are back under Elliott Avent, who's been there over 2.5 decades coaching that team and that school. NC State is a great – listen, this is a field I truly – with these teams, it's almost impossible right now to pick a winner. I think it's going to be very difficult. And if you can get the Gators at 13-1, why wouldn't you throw a buck on that? You can get Florida State at almost at 9-1 right now. And I think those are great picks because
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'll say the Aggies win the national title.
Okay, that's a good prediction. That would mean you're predicting them to win tomorrow or Saturday, I should say.
I think they're the most complete team. Robert on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. I hope the Mighty Gators pull it off. Robert, like I said, I don't care what happens out there.
Well, you want
I
the
know we're
Gators?
going to have people. We play on Saturday, Monday. We're probably going to have a lot of people complaining if we don't win
I
about
mean,
something, but we're there. That's all that matters.
I don't
Robert,
know. I'm not complaining. I mean,
huh?
why would anyone complain? They made the College World Series.
JC, they'll be questioning Sully. Why did he pitch that guy? Robert says on Facebook, I mean, on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Pump. JC, where's your Florida Panthers hat?
Yeah, damn it. You're right. It's sitting over there, and I ordered the new one with the shield and the head. That's on the way. Maybe I'll have that one for you on Friday. They play tomorrow night. The Celtics play tonight. So I went with the Celtics. The Florida Panthers have one issue right now, and that is their captain got jarred by Leon Draisaitl on a cheap-ass shot coming off his feet with an elbow to the jaw. Probably knocked him out, may have broken his jaw. If Alexander Barkov, who is the captain I'm talking about for the Florida Panthers, does not play, then they must, and I mean the league must, to have any credibility, suspend Leon Draisaitl for the same amount of time that Barkov is out. That would only be right. If that doesn't happen, then they are really praying for a Canadian winner in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they are not happy that the Florida Panthers are up 2-0. But defensively, the Florida Panthers are impenetrable. They are that good. They keep everything to the sides. There's nothing in front of Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky's going to win the Calder Trophy. He's going to win every trophy they have for most valuable player, best goalie, whatever it is. Conn Smythe, this, that. The goalie for the Florida Panthers is in my mind the reason they're going to win the cup.
All right. Greg says rumor is Sully will be getting double-digit players in the portal next year. He's already gotten 3, one from JU, one from Texas Tech, and one from Miami. Matt says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing.
Okay.
Big neutralizing factor in the College World Series TD Ameritrade, or whatever it's called now. There's no turf, deep fences. A few of these teams have thrived in hitters' ballparks. Different game in Omaha. Yeah, that's why I like the Aggies. They can pitch it.
They can hit it too, QB. My God, they can hit the ball. I mean, they fell behind.
I think they're the best. I think they're the best overall team out there.
And how about this? Listen to this. Jim Schlossnagel, their coach, is now lobbying the school, which has about a budget of $80 million for baseball, to buy and build a new on-campus
Bluebell ballpark.
They're going to build a new one. Bluebell's not good enough. 15,000.
And here's what they do out there. When they decide to build stuff, they
got
build
all
it faster than anybody in America.
They do. They have the labor, and they have the want and the money, and it gets paid the bills. And they've got more land out there on that campus than any.
They got so much land.
So they've got all the land. They've got all the money. They've got all the resources, and they still suck in football. But they'll be here in Gainesville on week 3, QB, and I'm telling you, it's going to be probably the toughest game Florida's going to play in the first 6. I believe that to be true.
Yeah. All right, we got a bunch of texts here on the Titan More text line. It says, good morning, guys. This is from Tommy in Savannah. Don't pick McElroy this weekend. I see he's reconciled with his wife.
Yeah, there you go,
called
Tommy.
off the divorce.
Shit, Tommy. I mean, sometimes you miss them. You miss them. You miss each other. And who knows?
This is for Josh. He says, any issues with the game times the ESPN announced for Florida? I haven't looked at them. We're going to talk about those here in just a second. And then this one is from
the game times. Is that what the question was? The game times?
Yeah.
Some of these schools have the SEC already. Like I looked at Texas A&M schedule; they've already got all their times. And
that's what I'm saying. Most of our games, I think we only have one night game at home. That's UCF. All the other, I did read something. I think it was Keith Carter, the Ole Miss athletic director. Everybody in the state of Mississippi has been raising hell because they took the game from Thanksgiving night to Black Friday at 3:30 on ABC.
The Egg Bowl. Talk about
supposedly the rumors are that for them to have to do that for TV, ABC threw them a bone and let them the game time for one away game.
They get to select the game time?
They've already selected it.
Oh, what was it?
I don't know what game that was, but I looked at Ole Miss's schedule.
Yeah.
They play the Mighty Gators at noon here.
Ooh.
So I think they probably said, let's play in Gainesville at noon.
At noon, yeah. Yeah, I see that. Keep the atmosphere. Look, the last time Mississippi was here, it was a night game, and Will Greer went bananas. So that wasn't a good experience for those boys from Oxford. But they have this thing called flex. So what that means is that these teams will have either this time. There's 3 different times that the network picks, but I think you're seeing less or fewer, I should say, pre-noon games, especially with the fact that many of the teams in this conference, and probably most of them, are in the Central Time Zone. I haven't looked at that, but
we play Texas at noon, which is 11 out there.
That's already in the books.
Yeah, they already got them all, dude. I'll tell you right now what the Gators schedules are right here. I have it. Scott Carter. Gators play Miami at 3:30. Play Sanford at 7. A&M's 3:30. Mississippi State in Stark Vegas, 11 a.m. kickoff.
Oh gosh.
UCF will either be at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Tennessee game at Tennessee will be 3:30 or 8.
Yeah.
Kentucky here will be either 3:30 or 8.
Okay.
The Georgia game's 3:30.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas, the Gators kick off at 11 Central Time.
Wow, these Central Time.
LSU here will be either 3:30 or 8. Ole Miss is a noon kickoff in Gainesville. And Florida State, because it has nothing to do with our league, to be determined.
Okay.
So you can already go ahead and pull up Alabama's schedule, JC, and it tells you when they're playing.
Okay. Well, I've already canceled my Wisconsin trip. I refuse to participate in an 11 a.m. game. So I'm going to save money and stay home and watch it on TV.
So that's pregame meal on those 2 games in Starkville and
that's
Austin, Texas will take place. They'll be eating their steak and pasta at 7 a.m. Wake-up call will be about 5:30.
That is so awful. Hey, but you know what? You get on the plane at a really good time, and you're back for that ESPN game at night. You're good to go. So, yeah.
Joseph on Facebook Live, and he's very true. This is very true. He says, I like that Mississippi State game time. Maybe all their fans would be rather be in a deer stand than rattling those damn cowbells.
1,000%. We talked about this.
1,000%.
Yeah, 1,000.
All right, JC, let's get to our Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Go visit them at peachlanddental.com. All right, so I always let you do this. So do you want Scotty Scheffler? We should just take him out of the damn picks.
Well, I like picking the winner. But
it's my show. I could pick him if I wanted, but
you want? All right. Well, then you pick him. Go ahead.
No, I don't. I say we just throw him out. He's that good. We should take him out.
All right. He's not eligible. I'll start with an elite iron player, and they're all great iron players, but some are just a little better than others. And this is the one guy who I think is in the top 5 in the world hitting irons. And I think on this course, that's what you have to do. And that would be none other than former British Open and PGA champion Colin Morikawa.
Well, that was my first pick. So
I mean, it's an obvious pick, QB. It's an obvious pick. You wanted him. That's amazing how I read your mind. I'm gonna
go ahead and another great ball striker. Yeah. He struggles putting, so we're just gonna hope he hits it close all day. Damn it, I'll take Victor Hovland.
that you are automatic on that Norwegian Oklahoma State Cowboy. Yes, you do love him. All right. I think I'm going to make a sidebar prediction here, and I already said it earlier. If you missed it, Tiger Woods is making the cut this weekend. I said
you're going to pick Tiger?
No, but I'm saying he's going to make the cut. All right. My next pick would be I'm going to go with my guy from my Alabama guy. Give me Justin Thomas. I think he plays well at Pinehurst. Give me JT.
All right. I'm going to go with I'm going to go out on the limb, and I'm going live tour here. I'm going to take Koepka.
Well, that's a shocker. I think you've taken Koepka every major in the last 3 years.
Well, he's as good as anybody in majors for the most part.
Now he's won 5 majors. He's won 4 PGAs and 1 US Open. Am I right about that?
I don't know. I don't keep up with his stats.
Well, you do know he's won
I
five.
think he's won 2 U.S. Opens.
So he's won 2 and 3. Okay. All right. Well, then in that case, since I'm going to take a guy that's got 0 chance of winning this. No, I'm not taking Tommy Fleetwood. Hell no. He's not won the U.S. Open. I'm going to take do I want DeChambeau? I have to pick a live guy. What, can we pick 4 or do we have to stay with 3?
We can pick 4. Just pick somebody.
Okay. Give me DeChambeau. Give me DeChambeau.
All right. I'm going to take another live guy because I feel like he's going to chip and putt. He's the best chipping dude and putter in the world.
Oh, yeah. Cam Smith. You know, he hasn't done that well, though, this year since he took the money. I'll just tell you that.
That's all right. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to take him.
All right. I mean, if he gets it going with the short game, yeah, he is incredible. I'm going to take the last year's U.S. Open champ. I think he's been kind of quiet this year. He'll play well and give me last year's champion, Wyndham Clark.
All right, Wyndham Clark. And my last pick, I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama.
You love that guy.
He's a good ball striker.
That guy. He's great. He's
excellent. So to recap, JC has Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Bryson, and Wyndham Clark.
Yes.
You have a Cal Bear, a Crimson Tide guy, an SMU Mustang, and an Oklahoma State Cowboy / Oregon Duck.
And who transfer. Is that?
Wyndham Clark.
Clark, yeah.
He started at Okie State and went to Oregon.
All right.
I have Victor Hovland, an Okie State guy. I got Cam Smith, who's from Australia. I got Koepka, the semi, and Hideki, who played at the University of Japan. No.
Well, and the sidebar pick is Tiger making the cut, plus 200. That's 2-1 odds. And plus 600 that he'll finish in the top 20. If he does make the cut, that's a much bigger chance there. But 6-1 is 6-1. And then on Friday, we're going to go back over this college baseball, these odds and these matchups. 4 ACCs, 4 SECs. And I really think anybody in this field, I mean, usually you've got, say, 5 or 6 teams that you really love to win it. And then there's 2 or 3 that you just say, okay, well, good season, but they're not going through the field to win this. I think in this field, every single team, all 8 of them, are very, very capable of winning the College World Series. I truly think that. And you know, even though Kentucky's this is their first trip, they play such good fundamental baseball, well coached. It's just a great season for them. And I really can't punch a hole in any of these teams, QB. They're all just tremendous. So
Cameron's question on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. What's your take on Georgia scheduling Auburn as its homecoming game? People are saying that's disrespectful. What are your thoughts? I don't know who all Georgia has at home, and it depends on like what part of the year. You can't, you know, I don't have their schedule in front of me.
Yeah. 1 year Florida played Auburn at homecoming. It didn't go well, but Herbert Perry, I think, was on the field that day. Tracy Rocker was on the field that day. You know how that went. But look, Georgia's going to blow out Auburn. I'm really not sure about Auburn. I know Hugh Freeze is excellent, but you know, Peyton Thorne, I'm just not sure he's going to be the guy. But no. he's. I mean, yeah, that's what it all comes down to for a team.
Auburn
like
can't throw the football. Tony's going to Pinehurst tomorrow.
Oh wow! All right.
Everybody's wanting to know why I didn't take Tom Kim. I love Tom Kim. Tom Kim's been playing good golf. He didn't play great last weekend. But Paul Tesori is on his bag, former Gator golfer. Been caddying for many, many years. You know, what's crazy is Tom Kim just turned 21 years old. Just turned 21, like a couple months ago.
It's incredible, these foreign players. They don't go to college, they go and play golf or tennis or something like that. I think, Tony, if you get there early, you've got a great tee time at 7:40 with Koepka, Morikawa, and Thomas. Tiger goes off at 7:15, so all that crowd will be in front of you. So I would, Tony, go check out that threesome. And if you hang around later and you get back to the first tee, you've got Schauffele, Scheffler, and McIlroy teeing off at 1:15. And by the way, footnote, we were not allowed to pick Scheffler in our Peachland Dental picks. That's why we don't have him on there. That's the rules that QB implemented for the U.S.
Well, I mean, I always let you pick first. I could easily pick first and take Scheffler.
Yeah, but I don't think you like him as much as I do. Maybe you do.
I love Scotty Scheffler. He might be my favorite golfer of all time because I think what he's doing, and people will argue with me and throw stats at me and all that stuff.
No,
but
I mean,
I've been watching golf a long
Incredible.
time,
It's incredible.
and Tiger and Jack are the two greatest of all time. There's no question.
Nope.
But you are not going to ever convince me that the athleticism and the players of today were anywhere what was competing against Tiger Woods.
Well, now QB back in the early 90s, you didn't have the equipment, the balls.
No. Well, Tiger had the same equipment. What I'm saying is think about these people that Tiger beat in some of Rocco Mediate. And take nothing away from them because they were professional golfers. But I feel like every golfer in today's world, they grew up idolizing Tiger, which they should. But they're athletic how Tiger was. Tiger was just more athletic than those guys. Go watch his highlights of who he's playing.
But he had a superior mental aspect.
Right, which these guys are the same way. I think Koepka's mentally tough. I think Scotty Scheffler's mentally tough. But my point of it is there was probably only about 3 guys that could hit the ball anywhere close to Tiger back in those days. Now everybody hits it so good. And I'm taking technology out. I'm just talking about the actual stature of these players. It's different to me. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see how.
Well, look, I do remember a lot of the tournaments that Tiger won against guys like Bob May and people
that's
like
my point. That's my point.
And Fred Funk and all that. So yeah, I think the fields are better today. And I think you're right. I think Tiger has a lot to do with all of that because golf became global when Tiger Woods was winning. Everybody wanted to watch him. I mean, my God. And so you get a guy like Oberg and you get these guys like Fleetwood and these players. The Europeans are awesome at golf. They're excellent. I mean, they're better now than I think they've ever been, really. And
they are.
Same with the Asian players too. I mean, I think they are better now than they were before. Yep.
Yeah. All right, JC, before we get out of here, this day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. 2023 NBA Finals last year, the Nuggets beat the Heat to win the franchise's first championship, and your MVP was the Joker. And they were upset this year. All right, we got to take a timeout and get to the voice of the Gators, get his thoughts on Omaha. And
I can't wait, man. I'm really excited about the college football, baseball World Series. This is the best team field I've seen in years. I really think so.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right, that's Jason. Join us on the Tight Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick timeout. We'll be back with Sean Kelley. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union.
Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, Play, Watch. Our gridiron sponsors are UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's next private label whiskey release party is Friday, June 14th. Celebrate National Bourbon Day with us as we launch our new Buffalo Trace Single Barrel Select Bourbon. Mingle at Visor's Rooftop for the release of Spurrier's 4th private label. Enjoy a bourbon-inspired menu, specialty drinks, raffles, and each ticket includes your own Steve Spurrier autographed bottle of Spurrier's Buffalo Trace Bourbon to take home. Go to Spurriers.com to get your ticket today. Must be 21 or older.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals Ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going to go back to the Titan Memorial Hotline courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by the voice of the Florida Gators, Sean Kelley. Good morning, Sean. How you doing, bud?
Good morning. I'm trying to get ready to go. Here we go again to Omaha, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. Y'all been on the road a lot lately. Let's go back. I mean, Sean, you've been broadcasting a long time, all different sports, football, baseball, and basketball predominantly. Have you ever experienced a game like what you and Jeff called against the Clemson Tigers? I thought it was one of the greatest games I've ever seen with the greatest athletic play I've ever witnessed.
It was maybe the greatest baseball game I've ever called. Just the quality of the game, the twists and turns. You mentioned the Canarella catch, in center field. The Gators made some big defensive plays too in that game, and just the drama. I mean, it felt like an elimination game for both teams, but it wasn't for Florida. But that was kind of the feel of it. And to go 5 hours and 3 minutes and 13 innings, it was remarkable. And the atmosphere was pretty incredible too. But it had everything. I can't think of a box, Shane, that game didn't check.
Yeah, I agree with you. So you guys have been on the road quite some time, from the Georgia series to the SEC tournament. We were one and done there, but out in Stillwater for a while, and then Clemson, and now you're home for a couple of days, packed up, ready to go. Don't know how long you're going to be out there. Just talk about the mindset. You guys are around these baseball players a lot during batting practice and stuff. Are they do you feel like they're looser now? They have nothing to lose?
I think in a lot of ways that's probably spot on. And I think the confidence or the figuring out who they were really started back in that Georgia series. They lose game one of that series, and they went into the weekend knowing they had to win 2 of 3 basically to even qualify for the tournament. Remember, they had to have a winning record. That's one of the qualifiers just to get into a regional. And after losing game one of that series, they come back, they win the final 2 in that series against their arch rival, obviously. And I think it started to carry over from there. This is a team, Shane, I think that early on in the year, they still felt like they were last year's team, which they're not. No offense to them. They're just not last year's team. And they had to get over that hurdle first. And then they had to bring on a lot of young guys, especially on the mound. And it wasn't until very late that they kind of figured out who they were. And once they got the confidence kind of rolling with that Georgia series, I felt like you can throw out the loss to Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament. Shane, that team was exhausted after what they had put forth down the stretch of the season, especially in Athens. So I kind of throw that out. And then sure enough, they go to the regional on the road. And like you said, they just kind of figured out that they were loose enough to, we could be playing with house money here, kind of, to use that analogy. I hate doing that, but that's kind of what it is. And they figured out who they were, had the confidence. And then, like you said, the loose thing is a real vibe around this team. And they played tight for a long time this season. And now I think that they should keep that same mindset when they go into Omaha and the Chuck on Saturday night.
Yeah, speaking of Omaha, it's the ACC SEC Challenge. As I said on my show the other day, it's unfortunate that's not being played in Atlanta or Nashville for everybody. But when you look at these teams, especially the 4 teams from the SEC, I mean, gosh, they're really good baseball teams. Nobody expects Florida to do anything. And the team that I picked to win it all, we have to face in game 1. Just your thoughts heading into this A&M game.
Yeah, well, Vegas agrees with you. Vegas, despite not being the top seed, is the favorite to win going into this tournament. Shane, they're without their best player, Brandon Montgomery.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep. He's a switch hitter. He'll go top 10 in the draft. I don't think there's any question about that. But this is still a team that is really good on the mound. In fact, there's several teams here that are ranked in the top 15 of the country in team ERA. They also have won a tremendous amount of ball games, including their non-conference schedule. They went 30-0 in non-conference play. Now, the last 2 teams that have done that have gone 0-2 when they got to Omaha. So, if you want to read too deep into the stats, you can pull that one out. But this A&M team is a different team than the one the Gators beat 2 out of 3 to start the SEC schedule this year. but so is Florida. They're both very different teams as they meet up in Omaha, Nebraska. It will be a tough challenge. And look, the percentages will tell you that the team that wins their first game up there has a much better chance than the team that loses their first game. It's pretty lopsided. So it's a pretty important game to get out of the gate. Last year, Florida beats Virginia by 1 run in the opening game, and then got to sit for the 2 days, win again, got to sit for 3. I mean, it all lined up for the Gators to be in the championship series. And here's Texas A&M, who comes rolling in here for the second time in 3 years now under Jim Schlossnagle. And there are rumors flying all over the place, Shane, that he could be done in College Station after this run and could be going to Austin, Texas to be the head coach of the Longhorns. We'll see about that. But keep this in mind about A&M too. There's something that's got to be in their head a little bit. In their last 7 College World Series experiences, 6 times they've lost game 1 of that opening round. So we'll see how this plays out. It's a really tough hill to climb for the Gators here. And then, in that same bracket, you have Kentucky and NC State. I'd argue that Florida and NC State are probably the 2 hottest teams going in the country. And Kentucky is up there after a really good season. There's nothing I like about that whole thing, but they're there for the first time. There's so many interesting things about the field, Shane. You talked about the challenge between the 2 conferences. We haven't seen that since 1948. That was the last time that only 2 conferences were represented in the College World Series. Mm-hmm. That was a tremendously different format at that point. And only 2 teams in the field of 8 have ever won the thing. Florida's one of them. Virginia's the other. Everybody else is after their first time winning a national championship in baseball.
Yeah, it's interesting. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold flavor smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. We have the voice of the Gators, Sean Kelley, here on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent, for a few more minutes. Got some questions for you here. Robert on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Sean, how have you prepped for the trip to Omaha? Do you and Jeff fly with the team?
Yes, we fly with the team. We'll leave today. Wheels up for the Gators at 1:30 Eastern time. And there'll be a couple things when we get on the ground in Omaha. And then tomorrow's the big practice day for all the teams. It's really one of my favorite days of the College World Series. But Jeff and I will be with the team. And our preparation basically begins with visiting with Shane Matthews this morning.
That's it. I got to ask you, is the baseball charter as crowded as the football charter?
On a trip like this, it'll come very close, but still not as crowded as the football charter is.
Oh my gosh! Dan's question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. Sean, how did you like that air raid siren at Clemson?
I liked it like 0. I mean, and the crazy thing was, well, a couple stories here. One is years and years and years ago, when I went to Oklahoma State, they hammered us. When I was at Missouri, this was back, 24 years ago, I guess it was. And they played the Gap Band, you dropped the bomb on me every time they hit a home run. And that team in Oklahoma State back then must have hit 50, it felt like, against us in one weekend. And then, so sure enough, we're back at Oklahoma State last weekend. And then we come to Clemson, and they play the same song and then have the air raid siren. So anytime they hit a home run was about as annoying as it gets for me. And then when Mathis hits the home run to take the lead in the top of the 13th, if you remember, there was that big review and then the subsequent ejections and all that. They kept that siren going and going and going throughout that whole review. So I even told Jeff on the air, I've had enough. And it was annoying.
I've watched a lot of baseball. I mostly watch, the postseason, but it just seems like, I don't know if the bats are juiced or the balls are juiced. Can you remember so many damn home runs being hit?
Well, no, because this is a new record this year. By the way, there were 81 home runs hit just in the super regional rounds across baseball. That's the most ever. Home runs are at last year they shattered the record for basically average home runs per game, and this year beat that number by just a little bit much. If you go back to I think it's 2017 or 18, they kind of flattened the baseballs, okay? And so much like the big league baseball, it has more aerodynamic to it because the seams are flatter. And of course, that's an advantage for offense, whether it be pitcher grip or flight of the baseball. And then we're also now well into this era of the bats. And usually what happens, these companies like Easton or DeMarini or Marucci or others, if you give them enough time, they're going to perfect the science. So we're deep in this cycle of this particular bat. And I think we're seeing, the best that the industry can offer. And I think also you're seeing a lot of larger, more athletic individuals swinging those bats and hitting those more aerodynamic baseballs. So the home run is king right now. In fact, there are two teams in the field that scored more than 50% of their runs via the home run this year. Tennessee's number one. They have a program record in home runs and the third most ever by a team. And then there are the Gators, 51.6 of Florida's runs this year via the home run. They're a little off the pace of where they were a year ago when they hit a program record 146. That ballpark plays big, Shane. You've seen a lot of games there. If the wind's blowing in from right, it is a pitcher's ballpark. So we'll see how that plays out. But you are not wrong in what you've observed about the home run and its prominence in 2024.
Yeah. Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellow Law. Sean, how important will it be for Cade Curlin getting on base to stop the intentional walks to Cags?
No, it's massive. I mean, it would serve the Gators very well in the Clemson Super Regional, obviously. Cags was walked intentionally less in the series. A lot of it had to do with Curlin being on or the bottom of the order producing to get back to the top of the order. The other key there, Shane, is Ashton Wilson now batting behind Jack Caglione, and he's been outstanding. He has 9 RBI in the postseason. He had another huge clutch hit in the clincher on Sunday. That is really kind of serving the Gators well. It's the matching of allowing the guys that can produce, like Caglione, giving him the opportunity by keeping teams from intentionally walking him, and then it's getting the uncommon folk, if you will, the Ashton Wilsons, the Dale Thomas to some extent, those guys up and down your lineup to help you become a tougher out 1 through 9.
All right, a couple more questions and we'll get you out of here. William in Atlanta on the Titan War text line says, Sean, what's been more fun this year, broadcasting basketball or baseball?
Equally as fun. Kim and I were just talking about it just the other day. We've seen postseason now with both. Obviously, you wanted to have a further run with the men's basketball team, but that was one of the more enjoyable teams I've been around in years. That group was tremendous, and I love Todd Golden. And I will say this, baseball this season was a grind for quite some time and at different stretches. But what we're seeing right now is you can't wait to get to the ballpark. You can't wait to be around the guys. And so there's some equal joy in both of these experiences right now.
Yeah. And then this Michael's question on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Sean, who is the funniest guy on the baseball team and how many Jell-O shots are you in for this week?
Wow. See, there's a couple factors in there. Funniest guy, gosh, Ty Evans is up there. As a matter of fact, hold on, let me reach in my backpack. So this started with Josh Rivera last year, and these are the beads that Josh brought to the team last year during that big run. Ty Evans has kept wearing those same beads. So I was teasing him about it the other day, well, more like a month ago, and he said, if the team made Omaha, and again, this was before I thought they could make a run, that I had to wear these when the Gators played in Omaha. So they're in my backpack, and that's Ty Evans doing it to me here. So,
Very
Shane,
cool.
what do you think? I think you can wear those during football coming up.
Absolutely. Hell, if we win games, I'll wear whatever you need me to wear, partner. Speaking of that, we got a couple questions regarding football before we get you out of here. Robert says, having both of y'all together right now gives me football vibes. And Gator Josh on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, what games are you and Sean looking forward to the most calling this upcoming football season?
Ooh, is there a game that I'm not looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Some of these start times are crazy that they already have. I guess the one game that I'm looking forward to the most, because I've never been there, they're new to the conference, is going to Austin, Texas. You've called games there, but that's the one game that I'm really looking forward to.
Shane, you're going to love everything about that experience except the broadcast booth. The booth is
can't be as bad. Is it worse than some that we experience?
It's just unique. It's a booth inside the press box. So it's glass press box front and then glass around the booth that's offset.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of bizarre, but Austin's a great place, and their atmosphere is tremendous. And it's new, right? There's going to be a lot of games this year in the SEC that are going to have a novelty to them because of those new matchups. That's one of them. That might be the one I'm looking forward to as well. The Miami opener is going to be pretty good, except for you and I are going to lose about 10 pounds just broadcasting the game, let alone the guys playing in it on Labor Day weekend at 3:30 in the afternoon. So the schedule is remarkably tough. But, you and I have talked to Billy Napier about this, and he's kind of got a counter to the whole argument of, the schedule's too much and everything else. I won't run through all of it here, but there are some parallels to last season, and he feels pretty good. I think you and I both agree they need to get off to a great start.
Yeah, I'm going to be very upset if we don't start the season 5-0. I know it's on paper, it's a hard schedule, but embrace it, go compete, and see what happens. Speaking of that, before we get you out of here, I know you did the Gator Caravan with Coach Napier. I think y'all had about 4, 5, 6 stops around the state. Just kind of touch on that, how that went.
It went really well. We changed up the format this year. I wanted our fans to really get to know Billy more as a person. And it's hard to do that when the coach gets up there and he stands behind a podium and kind of gives this stock speech. So we kind of made it into like an evening with Billy Napier, and we sat down in armchairs and, did questions back and forth, had him break down film, which was really cool for the fans to kind of see it through his eyes and start to understand some things. But I'll say this, I think the overriding takeaway that I had from it was Napier was much more relaxed this spring because he believes that his program is finally built. And that is everything from how NIL is handled and funded and where it stands to the depth of his roster and the quality he has at very key positions. And also the experience on his roster too. I mean, there were so many guys last year that had never stepped on a college football field and in some really pivotal locations on the field too. But he's super, super thrilled about Graham Mertz coming back. He says that's a bigger story than people give credit to. And, the Lagway factor is going to be really fun for them to figure out and utilize. And Shane, I think that he is really, really happy with what his offensive line is going to look like. And by the way, it is massive. It looks like an old-fashioned SEC line again, and it's also very athletic. And he feels like the Ron Roberts edition on defense and the different players that they have in those roles that were inexperienced last year or injury-riddled are much more shored up this season. So my takeaway was Napier seems to feel pretty good about this, and he kind of has this kind of, lying in the weeds kind of, you all just talk how you want. We'll see how the Gators do this fall and go from there.
And last question, Andy asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Sean, do you think Mertz will consistently throw downfield more this upcoming season?
Well, Shane, you're the quarterback. I'll let you answer the bulk of this question, but I'll say this. It's hard to throw it downfield when you're running for your life 75% of the time. A better offensive line and a more balanced situation with regard to experience at tight end and a few other key spots. Yeah, I think there'd be more throwing downfield, being more vertical just from that alone.
Yep, just got to call them. Got to call them. Give them a chance to let them go win games for you.
Yep.
So are you and Jeff taking your golf clubs?
No. And you see my big, deep breath about that.
I mean,
we'll have time.
Like when you have, if the Gators win, you don't play for 2 more days. Is that correct?
If they win or lose, they'll play on Monday.
Okay, so Monday. But
yeah.
So what do y'all do on your off days? I know in the past Jeff has played a little bit of golf. He must rent some clubs or something. Or will you ever go back to the ballpark and watch another game?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the experience is that it's this baseball festival for 10, 13 days. And so why not go catch a game or go shop for a T-shirt or go to the Drover, have a nice meal. There's so much that goes into the turnaround time from the Super Regional to the College World Series. It's almost just enough time just to get you and the equipment and everything else packed and logistically staged to make the transition going to Omaha when you're going from road to road. Last year it was easier because we were at home for the Super Regional and won quickly in 2 games. But I'm going to kick myself, Shane, for not taking my clubs, but at the same time, I just can't stack one more thing onto what I got to worry about getting.
Well, I just
up
don't
north.
know what the thoughts are. If you go walking out on the tarmac with your clubs as they're loading the charter plane up, maybe Sully's fine with that. I mean, why wouldn't he? So
I don't have. I mean, like you said, your double headers are gone, and unless you lose, you won't have back to backs. That's the tricky thing is, if the Gators lose either on Saturday night or Monday, then they would immediately play again on Tuesday, and then the whole thing gets sped up. So, look, I would rather be in a position, Shane, to where Gators win Saturday and win on Monday, and then I have all that time off to call you up and say, you were right, I should have taken my clubs. Look at all the time that I have. Yeah.
Well, Sean, we appreciate your time. You and Jeff have a great call. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon, my man.
Thanks. We're going to bring back something, I hope, for you. Take care.
Yep. That's Sean Kelley, voice of the Gators. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Silverback concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by it. Again, I want to thank Sean and JC. Again, if you missed out on JC and my picks, the Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry, Port Charlotte surrounding areas, our U.S. Open picks. JC has Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau, and Wyndham Clark. I have Victor Hovland, Cam Smith, Brooks Koepka, and Hideki Matsuyama. So it all starts tomorrow morning at Pinehurst. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the greens are extremely, extremely difficult for these fellas. That's what we want to see. Comfort Tip Heating and Air is looking for an enthusiastic, motivated comfort specialist to join our team. A $1,000 signing bonus after 90 days. Awesome benefits and the opportunity to grow with the winning team. Apply today at comforttemp.com. Comfort Tip Heating and Air. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Tomorrow's program. I thought we were going to have Mike Pearson today, big offensive lineman, former Gator, first round pick of the Jags. But I'd already booked Sean, so I screwed that up. So Mike may be tomorrow or Friday or next week. So y'all will enjoy him. He's a good dude. But we'll have Brent Beard tomorrow. And tonight is game 3 of the NBA Finals. I think the Mavericks win tonight. Greg says, Billy, better get the special teams and clock management fixed. You're right, Greg. I think they'll be fine. I think this team will surprise some folks this year. Should be a lot of fun, and can't wait for Gators to play Saturday night. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.